Hi, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Hassan. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And I take it, that's a famous saying from the ancient Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu. And today I take my first step into the next chapter of my unfolding journey. The average person, if they are lucky, get 4,000 weeks. That is if they make it to 80 years old. I have had just over 2,000 weeks of my life. And unfortunately and sadly, I have spent a great majority of those weeks carrying a feeling of hopelessness and powerlessness. And that I would not wish on my worst enemy. Over the years, I have read countless self help books, listened to podcasts, and watched videos. And I tried countless ideas, always searching for the ideas that will help me unlock and unblock my path to hope and power. I have dedicated my channel to honoring and highlighting the ideas that have successfully helped me find my path to self power and enable me to become the master of my fate and the captain of my ship. I am passionate about sharing both the many mistakes I have made over the years to help you save precious time and also share the learning that I have made and the insights that I have gained so you can use them to grow and make progress quickly. I have dedicated to the rest of my remaining weeks of my life in finding ways of leaving footprints on the sands of time, so that if you are a person listening to this or watching this and you're feeling lost or hopeless or powerless in your life, just like I have done for many years, I want you to take heart again and continue your journey, knowing that I care and I believe in your ability to find your path to self power. I'm going to, on a regular basis, go through the books that have made a difference to my life, and I'm going to go deep dive into them. Now, the approach that I like is simplicity. There are countless books on self help books and how to gain power, self power, and personal development. And it's like going to the Amazon rainforest and trying to find or trying to retrieve that nugget that will help you start that journey of powerfulness, feeling power in yourself. And I'm going to share with you the approach that I use. So, firstly, what I call a traffic light system. So, all of us, I've always been fascinated about traffic lights. Any country that I've ever been to, whenever there's a traffic light, everybody knows what red stands for. Everybody knows what amber, or as I like to call it, orange, because orange is my favorite color, or green. They know it. Now, there's something unique about that for me, that it shows how connected we are as human beings. That no matter our differences, no matter our personal journeys, no matter our challenges, we all have values that we share. We all have insights and understanding that we share and are common to us. So the traffic light is the approach that I use. And I'm going to go into it in a moment now. Now, I also like to have fun. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't know what a traffic light is, please pause the video and just type on a search engine, traffic lights. Now, coming back into the room with me. Now, the traffic light system that I use is red. I use stop self-sabotaging. That's the first thing. Is red. S, stop. Red means stop. And that is really the most important. So even if you forget the other two things I'm going to share, and the only thing you take away from this is the first one, red, stop self-sabotaging, then this would have been a success. My whole journey of trying to help people to gain self-power would have been a success. So what do I mean by stop self-sabotaging? Because before we can build something, we have to clear the ground from the debris and the things that we don't need. And therefore, that's the most important. Now, also, again, consistent with the traffic light, red. Imagine you don't know what a traffic light really is, but you know red means stop. And therefore, if only rule you apply when you're on the road is the red sign, you stop, but when it's red showing, the light is showing red, you will actually still be a driver that will be safe. Because when it's amber or orange, other drivers will nudge you forward. When it's green, other drivers will nudge you forward. But when it's red and you just always stop on red lights, you'll be safe. Your family will be safe. Your children in the car will be safe. And therefore, you're actually going to succeed in your life, regardless of the fact you don't know much about what amber or orange stands for, or green stands for. Now, that's for me how important this approach is. That's 3 things I'm going to teach you that will be consistent in every video that I make. The 3 things. Now, if there's 2 of them you forget or you don't remember, but you always remember the red, stop for the traffic light, stop, that one thing, then you're making progress. And when I say stop, I only mean one thing that you stop, not 2, not 3, not 4. There's only one thing I want you to stop. It's like a driving. When you have a car and you're driving, or you hit the brake at a red light, you stop the car. You don't stop other traffic. You don't stop other things that are happening around the world. But you stop the car. At that moment, you're saving yourself. You're saving the passengers in your car. And that for me is important, is critical. So the first thing is stop self-sabotaging. And how? What is the key to that? Self-awareness. Done. So for the first item, stop self-sabotaging. How do I achieve that, Hassan? Where do I start? The key is self-awareness. And in my videos, in all the ideas that I'm going to share with you, self-awareness is the key to stop self-sabotaging. And so that's the first, and I'll go into this approach in much depth in later videos. But as a starting point, I really wanted to take a moment to say to you, please, that's the key thing I want you to remember: the traffic light system to success, the traffic light system to self-empowerment, to self-power, to self-development. And I hear you saying, can you tell us amber or orange? Now, you may find that I'm often going to use orange because I'm in love with the color orange. It's a personal love. It's a passion that has no bounds. So I'll call it orange. And so when it's orange, the traffic light, what do we do when we're driving? Do we approach it like it's green? No. Do we approach it like it is red? No. And what we do when it is orange, the traffic light, is we get set on the accelerator. We prepare. If we have a manual car, we put it on gear 1. If you have an automatic car, we put our foot on the accelerator, but we don't press it. And what I want you to know for the amber or orange is to remember the words set the right mindset. So that means prepare, be ready, set the right mindset, set right mindset. Now, what that means is what you're about to do before it becomes green, you're getting ready. So set right mindset. Think of it as put the car in gear 1. Imagine it's amber and you say, let me put the car in gear 4. That's not setting right mindset. So the approach is important. How things come one after the other. So set right mindset. And as I go through this journey with you, I'm going to share with you the mindsets. There are different mindsets that are right mindsets that take you from A to B and then C to D and so on. And I'm also going to share with you which mindset is gear 1, the foundation, the critical one that you cannot go to gear 2, gear 3 unless you figure out gear 1. And what is so important is that mindset is growth mindset. And there are others. There is the abundant mindset. There is the courage mindset and others. Now, I'm going to start in the first couple of videos, starting with the book that has unlocked my personal power, the growth mindset. I'm going to start with honoring the woman called Dr. Carol Dweck, who is the proponent of the idea, the growth mindset, this new psychology of success for personal power. And that idea, the growth mindset, has unlocked my power, unblocked the path for me, and has liberated me. And that's why I call Dr. Carol Dweck, or Carol as I like to call her, the woman who figured life out. She really has. She spent decades researching the key to success, the key to unlocking self-power. She is well renowned. And her book, which I came across far too late in my life, in 2023, is the difference between where I am today and where I was back then in my own journey of trying to unlock my self-power. That's the difference that ideas made. It's a foundation, it's a key. And often you only need that to become and achieve the wider success. That is sufficient. That's powerful. And so orange or amber in our traffic light system is set right mindset. And then we'll start with the growth mindset. And the final one, the green, the one we all like. Now I'm going to tell you a little story about green. What would you like? Imagine if I can give you a wish that every time you drive, every traffic light will be green the moment you come to it. Right? I wish I had that, right? I drive. Now, joking aside, green. What is green for us in our traffic light system? Green is start moving. You see, I want you to picture in your imagination, you're that driver in that car. There's a traffic light that is red. You're waiting. You're stopped. You're stationary. And then it becomes amber or orange. And then you set right mindset. And then now what you're waiting for comes. Green. Start moving forward. Now, there's a reason why I put the word forward. It kind of looks very simple, very self-explanatory, right? But when we talk about movement, you can move sideways, you can move backwards. So it is intentional, the direction of travel. Have you ever been in a moment where the car in front gets green and the person forgets to put and that happens, right? Imagine the car in front then starts reversing. That creates a crisis, right? So it's important to move forward. And what do I mean by moving forward now? It means when you stop self-sabotaging and you recognize that self-awareness. That when I do that, I'm doing self-sabotage. And then you set the right mindset, how to change from what you were doing to doing something different. You recognize that it's now in your mind, you're cognizant of it, you understand it now, you're ready. Start moving means apply that learning. And what I want to share with you is that one idea is the place to start. One, not two, not three, just one thing you're doing. And I hear you say, what if I recognize I'm doing 3, 4, 5 things that I self-sabotage in? Where do I start? I want to show you a very simple approach, which one to choose. Just sit quietly for a moment and say to yourself, which one shall I start with? And the one that comes first to your mind, start with that. Your body, your mind, your soul, your heart, they all want the best for you if we only know how to use them and how to remove the blockages that get in the way. So that is the approach. That is my approach that I want to share. Now, why am I doing this? Because I'm dedicated to the rest of my remaining weeks. I've made a commitment of finding ways of leaving footprints in the sands of time so that any human being, no matter where they are in the world, no matter their background, their status, their situation, I do not want them to feel hopeless or powerless. I know that feeling. And there's nothing worse, especially when you feel you've tried everything, nothing works, or things work, but somehow you don't get the breakthrough. It doesn't last, those changes don't last. And also, this for me is a ongoing journey of self-discovery. This is the next chapter of my life. And so I haven't got everything figured out. But you know what? I'll always be figuring something out. I'll always be moving forward. Now, when I stop self-sabotaging in one area, and then I've set the right mindset, and then I start moving forward. When I achieve stability in that particular area, and I've now set it right, then I start with the next item that I'm self-sabotaging. And there's far too many for a lifetime. But it gets better every time. And I'll end with this. When we are self-sabotaging, we are doing that because it suits us. It's actually serving us in some way. That's why it's very difficult to actually say, yeah, I know I'm self-sabotaging. I am aware of it. I just can't remove it. So self-awareness goes up to a point. The drug addict knows his problem. The alcoholic knows his problem. The person who is powerless sometimes knows why they feel powerless. And what I want you to know is self awareness is the beginning, it's not the end. There's a way to approach that, and that is what I'm going to share with you. That's where the growth mindset comes in. That's where the mindset comes in. Awareness in itself, in isolation, even if you stop that self sabotage, it doesn't, in the end, move you forward. An analogy that I like to share is that I was having a conversation with someone I really respect. It was my mom. And I said to my mom, Mom, growing up, I remember you always gave us advice on what not to do. You've always said to me, and I can still hear it ringing in my ears, be careful of the friends you choose. Do not hang around with certain characters. Do not stand loitering in certain places. And I said, Mom, I really took that advice to heart, and it has stood the test of time. But now, Mom, I recognize something you missed out. And my mom looked at me like, what did I miss out now? I said, Mom, you told me the age of 8, the age of 10, the age of 15, the friends to avoid, the situations to avoid. Loitering is terrible. The devil finds work for idle hands. But I do not remember you sharing with me the places to stand, the places to visit, the places to go to. I do not remember the friends to become friends with, where they are, what they look like, what they're doing. And I said, Mom, what I've learned from that experience is the importance of not only sharing what not to do, but actually what to do. And that's my journey. That's what I want to share with those people that I want to reach. And what to do, not just what comes to my mind, but actually the ideas, the books, the wisdom, the insights that I've learned from many, 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 many months of research, trying and testing ideas, throwing ideas out because they seem good, but they didn't last. And so, in a way, my channel and really my whole life is dedicated to ideas. I've always been passionate about ideas, and in particular, ideas that change, that have a lasting power, and ideas that have wisdom in them. So, in a way, I was thinking about my YouTube channel and how I can differentiate myself from others. And I know I've come across some of the things that are very popular tech reviews. Mine is review of ideas. And any idea that I come across that I've tested, that appeared to work, and after several months, I found out it doesn't have a lasting power. I'll share that and I'll get rid of that idea. I'm interested in finding those ideas that have lasting power throughout the years, throughout the centuries. And that's what I'm about. I'm learning. Everything that I know, I've learned from others, and I want to honor them and thank them and highlight their work and how they made a difference to my life. And there's many private people in my own life that have had a huge impact on me. They're private, so I won't be highlighting them. But I wouldn't be here without their wisdom, without their patience with me, without their respect, without their admiration, without their support, without their encouragement. And without them enduring me for all the years that I felt powerless, I felt hopeless, and I was struggling. And I'm really passionate, and I'm going to finish with this. We suffer more in imagination than in reality, said by Seneca, one of my favorite philosophers. And he also said, and I'll finish with this: life is short. It's long enough if we know how to use it. Thank you. Take care. Bye.